the Otaku Doctor, and today we're going to be delving right into genres, as I mentioned at Comic-Con. So today we're going to talk about Shonen. Now, what exactly is Shonen? Shonen manga pertains to adolescent males who are between the ages of, I'm going to go with like 7 and 13, but they can go higher. Like, come on, I read shonen manga, Yuki reads shonen manga, like we all read it, but no one really knows what it is. But I will point that out right now. Let's see, a very popular one. Well, no, how will we do a popular one? A less popular one. I'm gonna have to go with you today. Inuyasha, perfect example, because one could say that because it says a fairy tale could be different than it, but it's actually not. This is published not in what people think it's published in. It was actually released Shonen Sunday, which is different from Shonen Jump, and I'll tell you about Shonen Sunday now. Shonen Sunday only releases on Sundays, and that's where fairy tale comes from. To give a good example, fairy tale, that's Shonen Sunday. Even though they come out on Fridays, they're really supposed to come out like Mondays for us, but they don't. They come out on Fridays, and that's what Shonen Sunday is. They're just Sunday manga. So like the Sunday newspaper. You have most of our manga, such as Naruto and Dragon Ball, and this is the actual volume 8 of it, or one of the actual ones. They are released in something called Shonen Jump. Shonen Jump is started in the 60s, 64 or 65, and it basically shows every shonen manga we've ever seen. Bleach, One Piece, don't say Toriko, that is a whole different story. That's a whole different publishing. Cannot say Toriko. Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, the big ones. Yu-Gi-Oh! Fun fact, Yu-Gi-Oh! was actually published in Shonen magazine. Yeah, card game. But it was actually not intended to be that. But I don't want to go, I digress. Now, the history of it is that, now the whole demographic of shonen is that it's usually a male between the ages of, in his adolescence to teens, or maybe sometimes adultish if you count Cowboy Bebop. Yes, that's an actual manga, Cowboy Bebop. If you count them, I say 20s, who has a predetermined destiny and must fight and build up his skills, or is already known how to fight and has special powers. Basically run-of-the-mill type of generic plot with some added twists here and there, like love interest and stuff like that. It's really just a basic gist of shonen. I can't really say there's a lot to shonen. The only thing I can say is that you don't want to be like the others. Shonen is not like the others. I just pointed to something else. The only one I have to point to right now is oh yeah, hold on. Yu-Gi-Oh! There we are. Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist. This is what it was, and look, it says Shonen Jump magazine, Shonen Jump manga. Now as you can see, we all recognize this episode. It's always a male or some sort of like male hero. Like you have Yugi right there. The Pharaoh isn't in this one, I believe. Come on, Tim, where are you? Ooh, spoiler alert. Oh, there we are. And then it always has like some power, some hidden demon inside of their body, or has some outside force helping them with their journey. That's sort of what shonen is. As you can see, we all know the story Yu-Gi-Oh! Means King of Duelists. So this was published in Shonen Jump magazine before the anime came out. And not a lot of people know that. They just think that the card game came out in '96 and then that was it. That's not actually true. There's multiple other ones through the series. Shonen Jump came out in the 60s. So you got Astro Boy. Well, not Astro Boy. Sorry, that was wrong. You have them all. Like the ones that you grew up with, Yu Yu Hakusho and Dragon Ball, and all the ones that were on Toonami. They were published in Shonen Jump. I didn't say anything else. It's not really like I delve into it. It's really straightforward. And basically the males know how to fight. Kind of weird. It's like the males fight and they're like super powerful and all this other kind of stuff. And like sort of sounds like most TV series. You know, that's manga. It sounds melancholy, but it's not. Finally, in news, and this is actually going to be a different news. I'm covering with the English, British, and Japanese side of this. So we're going to start off with, and I don't see it, we're going to start off with Kill la Kill English dub. Yep, awesome series. Kill la Kill will be released in the English dub. It will be released, I believe, this month of this year. Definitely this year, and I believe it's this month. Next, we have K movie. Who doesn't like K? The K movie is actually being released. I don't remember when. They didn't give me like a specific date. There's no specific date yet. And Doraemon, just a little background, is one of the longest running anime series in Japan. And it's actually coming over here in America. But a slight discrepancy is that it's going to have a script change. Now, we don't know what that script change is. We just know that Disney XD has it, and do y'all know what they did to Naruto? Yeah, I know, they did that to Naruto.
Kill.
Anyways, yeah, Disney XD has Doraemon. We can only hope that they do a good job with this one. Because they really did not do any good. Finally, we have, not finally, but second to finally, we have Doctor Who. Also, this is where the Doctor part comes in. The Doctor part is Doctor Who returns August 23rd with Peter Capaldi as the 12th Doctor. And we don't know if he's going to be 1 series or 2 or 3 series. But general the rule is 4 series per Doctor. We don't know what this is going to be like. So look for that August 23rd on BBC America and BBC One. Finally, we have Pokemon XY, the movie. Yep, they're going to release a movie for it. Another movie, at least, for it. That's going to be released later this year. And let's see. That's it for news. At least for me. I'm the Otaku Doctor, and we covered Shonen. And seriously, Shonen's a good read every once in a while, but you gotta always put it down. But I'm the Otaku Doctor. Catch you next time.
Hey everybody, this is Yukihiro Kei with Media Underground, and we're here at J Street Video Games. As you know, my segment is all about video games, music, fashion here and there, just so you can see what I'm wearing, and whatnot. I'm technically in normal clothes, it's not nothing fancy. Checker pants. You got your anime shirt, just like the other one. But this has all the characters that you know. This will be on the quiz too. Guess all the characters on all my shirts. But anyway, going back to video games, we're here in this retro section of the game. So, like games like Dragon Warrior for the Nintendo DS, Nintendo 64 cartridges. I know y'all remember how to work this. If it doesn't work, you blow inside the cartridge. Original. Then you have your current retro as Xbox, PlayStation 2, which is down here, and a few other systems. We're not going to talk about the Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3 and 4 and all that, because that's kind of still current at the time. So we're just going to walk around while I explain certain things and give you trivia facts. Let's go. I hope y'all remember for the chiptune part of the first episode, I talked about Mario, the first Mario game. If we look up here, which they do have like the first level, but it's the very top level, the final level to get to the princess. Most of y'all don't know that Donkey Kong span like symbioted or diverse from this game. The ape in that game is Donkey Kong, but the princess isn't Peach. That princess up there, her name isn't Peach, her name is Paulina. For most of y'all who don't know, who think that it is Peach, it's not Peach, it's Paulina. So technically Mario did it 2 princesses? Not bad for a guy who just seemed to cross every kingdom trying to get one girl, and we don't know what the hell she's doing. She could be messing with Bowser all the time, always in the freaking Mario Kart game. She's always hanging out with him. Like, she could escape, but she doesn't. I wonder why. But anyway, you got your Xbox 360s games. Let's see. Oh, you got your Sonic Generations for all you Sonic fans. And the picture up there with Sonic punching Mario into his course. Okay. Let's see. What else this way. Since this is technically just a retro segment for all the games and stuff, I'm not going to go into details about the current systems. So, first technical system that is ever out, was the Atari 2600, 1977 to 1992. That's like 2 decades and a half. Just about 2 decades and a half. The next console is the Nintendo NES. He came out at 1985 to 1995. 10 years, good 10 years. And then the Super Nintendo, which is 1991 to 1990, which is really wild for what I think, because then in the middle of while that console was out, they came out with the Nintendo 64, which I think is like one of the best Nintendo consoles that ever came out. Like, I'm not knocking the newer versions of the Nintendo consoles. I just think the 64 is like there. It's like number 1, and then you go down. Then a new company came out called Sega. Sega Genesis came out 1989 to 1990. And in the middle of that, they came out with the Sega Genesis. Well, Saturn, technically. Genesis, Saturn, Dreamcast. Alright. Then, after those two had their good run, they came out with the Dreamcast, and only lasted 2 years. And that's when Sega stopped. But in the news currently, there are rumors about Sega coming out with a new system. It's called the Sega Spectrum. I love that name. I think Sega is one of the best companies that comes out with game system names. You got your Genesis, you got your Saturn, you got your Dreamcast, you got your Spectrum. Like, how epic is that? It's like technically the universe going after universal things like space and stuff. That's just great. And then after Dreamcast died out, Nintendo GameCube came out. This was a very good system, and everything is so amazing about this system. Like, most people played Mario Kart mainly. Mario Kart and Link, from what I know of. And then Nintendo came out with the Wii. Yes, the Wii came out in 2006, which is surprising because it seemed like it just came out, which is weird. Maybe because we have the lapid memories. But then we come down to your Sony systems. PlayStation 1, 1995 to 2006. This was my first game system. So, when I was 2, I got this. Yeah, 2. So, technically you know how old I am. Don't let my looks fool you saying that I look younger. I'm not younger. Then, in 2000, the PlayStation 2 came out, all the way up to 2013, a good 13-year run. And then we're going to go to the PlayStation 3. Came out 2006, and it's still out. It's not getting called back yet, even though they did, for the PlayStation 2, they told GameStop, and yeah, just about GameStop companies mainly, to stop selling PlayStation 2 stuff and 1 stuff, because it's going to be obsolete. Yes, they obsoleted their games. And we have the Xbox. The original Xbox One. Original. 2001 to 2008. And then we have the Xbox 360, which came out 2005 till now. Like, you know, all the current game systems that came out, like the Xbox One, which came out maybe like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, close to that, as well as the PlayStation 4. Just about 2 years ago it came out. And then you have little companies like the Ouya and GameStick and the Tritron trying to get their little gaming systems up and everything, because they want to enter the big boy section for all these games and everything else. They want to make you see which system is better, so they could compete. They could at least compete with Sony and Nintendo and Xbox, which is Microsoft. So they get their foot in the door, they can do that, and they can go to E3 conventions and stuff like that. We're going to walk over to the Fat Palace, where the TVs are and stuff like that. Look at this. We have a whole setup for a Sega Genesis. This is how the Sega Genesis controller looks. The original. And we're going to be playing Batman. The 1995 version. Which is most likely, I think this is the one with, I believe... this doesn't look like the one with Catwoman. Oh. This is technically based off the animated series. Technically. Yes, Batman has a long history of running games. Most of them suck. Most of the old ones suck. Like the one with Catwoman and stuff, like how, not to like be a spoiler for that game, but he dies off a 9-story building and survives. And we understand why she survived. She's a cat, she has 9 lives, but the duration of how long she's been in the comic book world to now wouldn't you think that she would run out of lives already? So wouldn't you think that's a lot of stuff would change? But that's why you have your reboots like the DC 52s, which is technically all they're rebooting every series. They started early last year, technically. So, and then we have your Nintendo, the first Nintendo game system controller. Most of y'all already know what this looks like, and this is just one of the normal racing games. See how it's like 8-bit glory. Well, at the moment, let's see, what can I tell you about each art thing right here? I got something for you. See all this? Got Kira, yeah, just for the Otaku Doctor right here. He's probably like drooling over it right now. You got your Spawn. Got your Saturday Night Live stuff. You got everything for comic bookies and Trekkies alike. Here, people like Gears of War and all that. We even have the games that you won't be able to find much anymore, like Shining, the Holy Grail, the Holy Ark, and All General, and Legacy of Kain Solar. I'm surprised that they don't at the moment. They probably do. They probably have Soul Blade. For those who don't know what Soul Blade is, I explained in the first video, and I'll explain again. Soul Blade is the first series, the first game to ever come out of the Soul Calibur series. So technically, Soul Calibur has 6 games. The first one is Soul Blade, which came out in 1996, 1995. In Japan, the cover is different than the American version. Like many covers of video games and stuff like for manga are usually different. Depends on how old it is and if they just want to change up the cover art. Like for Blaze Blue. Blaze Blue Calamity Shift. Yeah, I believe. I always get the game titles mixed up sometimes with Blaze Blue. But for the second current one that was released, not Chrono Phantom, not that, but the one before that, the game cover isn't the same over in Japan. It's not. It's the one over here has like the faces, like a collage of the faces. Over there is like the whole body, and they're like fighting and all that goodness. For news, for games, this week, we have this week, which is coming out, I believe. Yeah, I believe it's this week. We have Child of Light. This is an indie game for all you gamers who like Child of Eden. It's kind of like Child of Eden, but a RPG version of Child of Eden. It's actually is released July 3rd in the USA. Well, no, over in Europe. The USA version, I don't know when that's coming out. I guess the creator is trying to see how good it does over in Europe first, and then he's bringing it over here. July 3rd. Ratchet and Clank Trilogy. Yes, Ratchet and Clank is coming back out. It's a whole trilogy game that's coming out just for you, all you Ratchet and Clank fans. 2 games that are coming out on July 8th.
But I mean, it's definitely
one is anime, and one is just for people who love Grand Theft Auto and blowing shit up, and the whole massacre of just street robbing. First game is Saints Row 4th. I know some of y'all are like, Saints Row the 4th already came out, but this is a special edition of Saints Row the 4th. It's called National Treasure. So it's a lot of things that change since it's the 4th of July, and since Saints Row the 4th has a lot of American themes in it, the company Rockstar just thought it was good to actually have a game for it, like a special edition for the 4th of July. Why? Because we're Americans and we like to blow up stuff. Just blowing up stuff. For you Japan and Otaku people and like One Piece fans, on July 8th, this is the game for you to get. One Piece World Red. Yes, One Piece is coming out with the game. It's going to be virtually worldwide. Yeah, it's coming out everywhere July 8th. So it's no like, oh, Europe is going to get it first, or in the US. No, everywhere in the world is going to get it. So get your copy, save your money. It's coming out next week. And for news about games, that is it. I'm Yukihiro Kei.